you have a right to a bond. And as an example, again, in Indiana, that right attaches to any crime with the exception of murder, and even murder if the state's case is weak on that charge. So anytime you are arrested for a crime, you're entitled to be given a bond. And what a bond is simply an amount of money that the court believes is sufficient to guarantee that you will stay in the jurisdiction and show up for court and trial when required. In some cases, in the best case for someone who's been arrested, that is an OR. And what that phrase means is own recognizance. You're released on your own recognizance. You're trustworthy enough for the judge to believe that you don't need to post a bond. You will show up as you're supposed to. Regardless, if you're not OR, you have some level of bond set, and that can be either a surety bond or a cash bond. A surety bond, and I'll use the example of a $10,000 bond. A surety bond requires you to post 10% of that amount to an insurance agent, a bondsman. Bondsmen are licensed and bonded by the state insurance agency. And they take that 10%, and in return for you paying them that fee, that $1,000 on a $10,000 bond, or that $100 on a $1,000 bond, they promise the court to produce you anytime you're supposed to be there, and to go get you if you abscond. If you don't abscond, if you show up every time that you're supposed to, that bondsman keeps your $1,000, and that's his fee. His 10% is his fee, and you don't get it back. If you abscond or fail to appear for court, he has to pay the court the balance of the $9,000. He has to pay the bond amount or produce you in person, come out and get you and bring you back. The cash bond is a bond that, again, to use the $10,000 example, you would post $10,000, not 10%, but you would post it with the county, usually with the clerk's office. And they would hold it in escrow. And for as long as that case lasted, they would keep that money. And if you absconded, they wouldn't have a bondsman to send out after you. They would simply keep your $10,000. Issue a warrant, and the sheriff might try to come out and get you. If you showed up, and eventually the case is resolved, however it's resolved, whether there was a trial, a guilty plea, a guilty verdict, or a not guilty verdict, at the point where the case was resolved, that bond would be released back to the individual that paid it. In other words, that full $10,000, minus a small administrative fee, usually in the neighborhood of $10 to $20, would be refunded to the person who posted it.